In Stamford Bridge where legends play, the Blues march on day by day. From the academy's nurturing hands to the roaring crowds in distant lands, Chelsea Sessions brings the game to life, with training clips and match insights so rife. We dive deep into every play, where the Blues make history every day. Oh Chelsea, our hearts beat true, in victory and defeat we stand by you. From the men's fierce fight to the women's grace, together we conquer in every place. Through the highs and the lows we've seen, your spirit remains evergreen. With every pass and
I hope you guys are able to hear me. It's been a while since I've done a stream, and this was just impulsive. So let's talk Chelsea Football Club. I'll be right back. Okay, beautiful people. I hope you guys are good. If you're a Chelsea fan and you're watching this right now, I hope you are good. Despite all of the challenges that Chelsea Football Club have sent your way in terms of enjoying. Well, for some persons in the UK, probably is Monday for you already. Not probably, it is Monday for you. But it's the start of a new week. A lot of people are planning to go to work. A lot of people are, obviously, in the spirit of, probably going to sleep soon. Two people are watching currently. I'm not sure who those two persons are, but thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys are not hearing my background. My background is very noisy at the moment. But despite all of that, I just really want to just give a little, little video-esque or stream, of me just talking, about Chelsea Football Club. I've not really talked about the men's team in a while in terms of on the channel solely by myself in a very long time. So I just felt as if, what, it's time. It's time for me to just, stop, with the whole host-esque thing where, I have people on talking and, I don't really speak much. So this may not be a very long stream considering, the time that it is for a lot of the people that do watch the channel. Yeah. Okay. So big up to you, coach. It says a ghost. Okay. Wow. Wow, I see. But yes, yeah, obviously, as I said, this is impulsive, but I have to put on my Chelsea shirt. A lot of people have questioned if I'm actually a Chelsea fan, and do you even support Chelsea, or are you just a whining baby? The thing is, quite simply, I will say that Chelsea Football Club is the first ever love I've ever had in this life. And I think, despite how much hatred I've garnered for a lot of what I've seen on the pitch, that's not going to change. I remember seeing things on Twitter, about the fact that I'm not going to be watching any more Chelsea men's team match for the rest of the season, and it took me literally 4 days, and then I just went back to watching it. So because that's just the thing, it's difficult for me to divorce myself from this club. It's a very toxic relationship. We argue, we fight. There's a lot of heated moments, a lot of emotions, and despite all of that, I still come back anyway. So it's a toxic relationship. The definition of a toxic relationship. If you're a Chelsea fan and you've never experienced any toxic relationship, that's not true. Because this season and probably last season, um well, even before that, actually, I should say that 2023 is a perfect example of that as well. Finishing 12. um Toxic relationship. If you're a Chelsea fan who's only been a part of the 21st century era of Chelsea Football Club, maybe you'd say that, I've never experienced toxic relationship. Yeah, 3 seasons. Yeah. Love rules. Yeah, love rules, man. Love rules. 3 seasons. Yeah, 3 seasons. You have felt what it feels like to have a toxic relationship with a club called Chelsea Football Club. Even Chelsea's a female name. So if you're a male, you have a female esque in your life. So yeah. Um, but yeah, on a serious note, 5 minutes in, I'm gonna be serious now. I'm gonna be civil. I'm gonna be more of analytical now, more than just making jokes and trying to be funny or corny. The fact is, Chelsea Football Club has changed. It's not what a lot of fans, especially those from the 21st century, is accustomed to. Um, and that's okay. You know, for the fans that have been supporting the club, probably those ones are probably not with us anymore. From 1905, 1950, 1920, 1930, 1940s, the 1950s, 60s, 70s, come up all the way to obviously, Jose Mourinho coming in, the Roman Abramovich era, Ken Bates before that, save the bridge and all of those things. The history of the club that we know as Chelsea Football Club, the team that has won 19 trophies, 20 trophies, depending on what you want to call it. With Roman for 19 years. We have seen glory days, we've seen sad days in recent times. But the fact is, Chelsea are not the same. And you know, when I have talked about Chelsea, when I've gone onto other channels and I've discussed Chelsea, I've not said this is not Chelsea Football Club, because it is. This is not London Blues. This is not it. It's Chelsea Football Club, the club that was established officially in 1905. That is the reality. We can hold on to the past Chelsea that we know for the 21st century, for most of it rather, um, for the past 20 plus years, you'd say that. But the fact is, Chelsea Football Club has become a different entity in general, and that's not just the owners. That's not just about the model that they've come with. I have to do this. Speaking about model, anybody that ends up watching this post this day, which is for me Sunday, it's currently 7:47 p.m. EST time. If you watch this stream or video, ensure that you do check out the Todd Bowley video. Just a little quick promo in between. But yeah, coach is saying still the same Chelsea. The only difference is that they're taking needs patience. Well, perhaps. I don't think it's the same Chelsea though, because if it was, we would not be in the situation that we're in right now. So it's definitely not the same. And I mean, you can argue that Chelsea were going down this slippery slope for years. Um, just the Champions League just overshadowed what was gonna come and the inevitable. Roman was actually even investing. Yeah. And I'll come back to that message, that comment, after this as well, coach. I just read what you said. But the fact is, and I can incorporate what you just said into what I'm about to say as well. The fact is, Roman was trying to build for the future as well. Let's not forget that one of the reasons why we even got the transfer ban. I feel like I've said this so many times. I've said it probably 2 times on this channel. I've said it multiple times on other channels in the comment section and on the panel. The fact of why Chelsea got a transfer ban was because they were making some signings of some players that are perhaps under the age of 18. Obviously, please don't flog this video, YouTube. I know you can do foolishness sometimes, but yeah, they were signing players um that were basically too young. And there's this guy who I always forget his name. It's not. I think is it was this, it's not Bertrand Traore. What's his Traore? His name is Traore. He was at Aston Villa recently. We signed him, and then boom, we got a transfer ban. I think that's the story of the transfer ban. Um, let me see if I can find his name. But Traore, he was at Austin Villa recently. But I cannot for the life of me cannot remember his name, I should say. But Traore is one of that. Is it Bertrand Traore? Yeah, he's Bertrand Traore. Why did I not believe in myself? No, it's not Bertrand Traore. What's the name of the guy, man? Is it Bertrand Traore? Who was it? It's not Bertrand Traore. Anyways, I'm not gonna stick on to that. I do not remember for the life of me what the guy's name is. I don't think it's Bertrand Traore because Bertrand Traore is 29 years old. So obviously it could not be Bertrand Traore. It's another guy. Um, what's his name? Dang it. This is driving me crazy. Let me check this again. Oh, this is driving me mad. I cannot remember. It's Bertrand. His name is Bert. It is Bertrand Traore. Is it Bertrand Traore? No, the Bertrand Traore is not the player. We got the transfer ban. I don't know which player it was, but it was not Bertrand Traore because we got the transfer ban in 29. Well, then again, it would have been 2019, but it perhaps could have been prior to that when we signed a whole bunch of young players. I don't remember. I digress. But now it was. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, all right, cool. So I'm not losing my head. My history is not messed up. Then okay, perfect. Thank you for the confirmation. But yeah, um, yeah. So the plan was obviously there, and obviously it's not like signing young players is just something that just started under this era, and that is why, as much as I'm not the biggest fan of the new ownership, I am not once ever said that, oh, stop signing young players. No, because a lot of clubs do it. Chelsea are not the first club, and they will not be the last club that does that. So I'm not gonna pretend as if I'm oblivious to that. I'm aware of that. Um, go away, coach. Just stop. But yeah, thank you. I'm not going mad. But yeah, I mean, a lot of clubs do it. A lot of clubs sign players for the future. Real Madrid have done it for years. Wolves have done it for years. Liverpool have done it in the past. Southampton did it in the past. Monaco did it. Dortmund, the list goes on. If I mention all the clubs that do it, this stream would probably be for 20 hours and probably more because there's multiple clubs that do that. So it's not something new. But my point is, a lot of people want to just say, oh, these young players are going. It's getting tiresome now. It's getting tiresome. It's getting annoying, and I can get that. But my point is, fine. I'm with the people. I have a hiccup now. I'm crap. I'm with the people that believe that, okay, that you can mix it up, get some experienced players, and as coach who's in the chat would say, and I would say the same as well. Experience is not about players who are 29 years old. There's a lot of players who started off in very early. So when you and this is probably going to sound like what coach would say, and this is not intentional because obviously coach and I are not friends. But what he would say, what I have said in the past, is that a lot of these players start off very very early, so that when it comes on to 5 6 years later, you're like, whoa, I thought this player would be like 26 28, but no, you look at them, the 25 20 24 23. So I mean, we see that that is the case. A lot of players start off very early. So I'm not with the people that say no, don't have young players in the squad, because a lot of young players can define a season for teams. They can score goals, are so important to a team. We can look at Arsenal right now. Arsenal have been a team that have relied on young players. And fine, people may say the blueprint of Arsenal has not been beautiful because they've only won, well, two trophies in the last 6 years of Arteta. But the fact is, the way that they play football, look at the Real Madrid match. If they had a proper finisher, that match could have finished 6-0, probably more. But the fact is, we live in a situation where a lot of people are not patient. And I'm going to go back to what Coach said up here. As much as we're not friends, but I'm a fair person, I like to say. Probably Coach disagrees, but I'm a fair person. If a person says something that is actually factual, I'll have to give them their plaudits and I'll give them their flowers. So um he said, if you remember, I've always said that my concern is the present. The future means bright. Yeah, definitely. And I do agree with that. And that is why, as much as I've been emotional, I've been frustrated, and I mean, football is about emotion, it's about passion. At the end of the day, when I cool down and I calm down, I reflect on what I see, and that is why I don't curse. Full stop. I may have my moments where I may use colorful language, which I'm not proud of, but I'm not perfect. I've never pretended to be perfect, and I get things wrong. I've gotten things wrong. So I'm not going to pretend as if I've always done beautiful things. But the fact is, we live in a situation where people are not patient. We live in a technological world where, but that was a poor attempt of snapping my finger. Let me try again. Perfect. The snap of the finger, the switch of a button, the press of an enter button key or key button. What am I saying? You can get the answers to questions that you would have to read a book or have to read a website or read an article or a journal and and all of that to get the responses or to get the ideas of what you're looking for. Now AI has come a long way. You can just type in a prompt and say, "Hey Chat GPT, hey Mix AI, hey Gemini, hey whatever other AI websites, whatever people use these days," and boom, you get responses, you get ideas, you get a lot of plans that you want to make outlined in a matter of seconds. So you don't need to be patient about anything. And I think that when you have technology like that, it becomes a case where you're like, oh, I should not have to wait for success. I should not have to wait for this. And I get it. But my thing is, a lot of people, and this is the case, if you're going and I'm gonna use some analogies because right now I'm studying psychology and some other courses, at university. Um and so I have to use some psychology esque type of lingo. So if anybody that watches this and you probably don't understand what I'm saying, probably most people do because psychology is something that everybody has enough knowledge about, even if we don't realize. But when we look at the dependent variables and the independent variables of everything, we recognize that humans are this. Humans don't change. They still want things in their time frame. People say people evolve and things change, but the fact about humans is that a lot of humans, they want to see something. Seeing is believing. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. Some people are okay with just hearing words and that's good enough for them, but seeing is believing, especially in the world of football. If you want to back a manager, the manager, if you're backing a manager, what am I can't even talk, man. If you're backing a manager, you want the manager to prove why you're backing them in the first place. So in the case of Maresco, a lot of fans that are backing Maresco, they will say that, look at this. You can see that, he has changed these things. He's utilizing certain players. We're seeing Reece James being rested more. We're seeing Levi Colwell getting more games. We're seeing Tosin get more games, I should say. Not Levi Cole. Levi Cole was, I'm going to say something else about Levi Cole, and I took it back. And I had a mind for it a while ago, and I said Levi Cole anyways. But yeah, and today's generation wants it now, as you said, coach. Um, that's the king. That's the thing, and a lot of people say that, because I'm young and all of that, I want things now. And my problem is not that I want things now, I'm okay with waiting 3 years, 3 more years for us to win the Premier League. But the fact is, I need to see sustainability. I need to see consistency. And right now, I would be a mad person if I believe that a team that is filled with 20, 21, 22, 23-year olds, 24-year olds to some extent, 25 and perhaps 28, 29 in minimal numbers, would be able to deliver that. And there's one thing that Maresca said post match after the Ipswich match. For those obviously watching this post today on Sunday, for me, so just for the sake of you understanding the time frame of what I'm talking about, he said one thing that, a lot of people were upset that he's blaming the fans and he's doing this. And I understood what he was saying. Maybe the way that he said it was off-putting and upsetting, but the fact is, what he said, I can get it. I can understand it. When you have a lot of young players, they need you to hold their hands, and that is what I've understood, and that is why. And I said this even earlier. I'm not critical about a lot of players. I don't give up on players quickly and say, "Oh, I believe that this player needs to leave the club," whatever. There's some players that I've given up on for sure. And Nkunku is one of them. If Nkunku proves me wrong, fantastic. But I don't think Nkunku is staying post summer. I think he leaves in the summer. He looks disinterested. I've said that so many times now. Um, Robert Sanchez, I said this earlier. Yeah, I think it was misinterpreted. What Maresca said, I think it was misinterpreted. But the fact is, Robert Sanchez, I've said this so many times about other players. I think he should, and I'm gonna add a different context to it. I think Robert Sanchez should leave the career path of football, no longer be a goalkeeper, become a movie star, become a actor, because the things that man does, he is the main character in a story that was made around him. The fact is, what a lot of what he does, I have to wonder if he thinks that he's in a movie where those movies where you watch a protagonist and they're going on an adventure and they're being chased down by a villain, the antagonist. And you're rooting for them to win, you're rooting for them to get away from the antagonist, you're rooting for them to not die, and then boom, what happens? Maybe that's the case. But no, but I mean, no, but seriously, though, coach, I have to, because I've kept silent for a long time about a lot of things, and the thing is, Robert Sanchez, he has the main character syndrome. But there's one thing that I okay, and this is the thing, Moresco blaming the fans for Sanchez's mistake was stupid, because even when the fans are not even saying anything, when the fans are quiet as hell. Forgive my language for those people who don't like those words. He does the same thing. He averages a mistake every other game, if not every game. So for him to say that because the fans were doing this, he made a mistake, that was redonkulous. I'm taking your word, coach. That was redonkulous. That was hilarious. That was disgusting for him to say. But one thing that I will say I understand about what he was saying is this. When the fans are booing are booing the team, I should say, you cannot expect the young players who have no identity. The mentality is still being grown. The winning mentality is going there. You can't expect you booing them to be okay. And I get it. The game, you find the football boring, and I can get that. Slow build up, backward passing, sideways passing, trying to build from the back and all of that. I get it. The whole tactical esque about it. I did a whole analytical video, and to this day, that video is my most viewed video on the channel about Enzo Maresca's tactics. I'm aware of what he was going to do. So when people are going mad, I have no surprise. I'm not surprised about it. For people watching, and sure you're liking the stream as well. Big up to you, man. Big up to you, DJ. Big up. He says, big up, Ty. How have you been? I've talked to you privately about the whole situation. I'm not gonna really do it publicly here, but I'm coping well. I'm just trying to be okay. I just gotta say that. But back to what I was saying, because I don't want this stream to really be long. Because I don't really want to be repeating myself, and I don't think there's any point in me talking for too long. And my throat is getting dry as well, so I'm not going to talk for too long. But the fact is, the team is young. I get it. I want us to sign experienced players some more. I want to see that happen. But I'm not going to pretend as if I did not do my extensive research on Enzo Maresca. So when people are going crazy and they're losing their heads and the testicle is falling off and all of those stuff, I am aware of the fact that this is how Maresca plays. This is how he sets up his team. He wants slow build up at times. He wants to welcome pressure, and maybe it's probably counterproductive right now when on the transition we are vulnerable, we get harassed, our butt cheeks are left exposed, and we get molested and filled up. But the fact is, we live in a situation right now where people don't do research. I say this for players. I say this for the manager. Get to know the personnel at the club before you lose your head, you lose your balls, you lose whatever part of your body you want to lose. Because at the end of the day, if you are not aware of what personnel is at your club or in the entity that you support, you are gonna be left disappointed. It's simple as that. The same can be said about relationships, and it's been too long since I've used an analogy about relationships. And as I said, I'm studying guidance and counseling right now. So I mean, counseling is all this has to do with all of that. So I'm gonna just simply say this. The fact is, and I'm gonna speak from the male perspective because the demographic of the person that watched the channel are mostly males. There's a percentage of females, girl power to those persons as well. If you're a male, if you're a man, and you're trying to uh go away, coach. But what I'm saying though, if you if you're trying to court a female, the first thing that you need to do is know about them. You're gonna try to get to know them first. If you're logical, you get to know. I'm going to respond to what you said after that, DJ. I'm going to take my eyes away from the chat because I'm losing my train of thoughts because I'm looking at to ensure I'm interacting with the chat still. But let me just quickly say this analogy, then I'll come back to what you're saying, DJ. But if you're trying to court a female as a male, that is, you have to ensure that you know what you need to know everything about her. You need to know the basic. You need to know what they like, their taste in music, what they like to do in their spare time, all of those things. Now, I know the analogy is wide of the market in terms of football right now, and you'll get my point soon enough. But this is my point. In order for you to have a successful relationship, in order for you to not be driven crazy when you get in a relationship with that female, is that you understand their likes, the things that you may not like about them, and this is the case. And similarly to managers, every fan is not gonna like everything about a manager. Some fans like the slow build up. Some fans want to see moving forward. You can't quite hear me. Is it the mic? What's going on? Can't wait to. Oh, okay. Oh, can't wait. I can't read, man. I can't read. Jesus Christ, can't wait to hear this. I thought you said you can't hear me. Oh my gosh. Anyways, all right. But yeah, if you're trying to court a female though, you need to ensure that you know the basic about them. So similarly, if your club gets a manager, do research on who they are. Find out what they do, what their personality is like, what their character is. And in all honesty, I was upset about what happened with what happened with the likes of Felix, the likes of Nkunku, although Nkunku has proven that, in terms of playing, he doesn't suit certain matches, especially if the team gives him too much space because he loses a lot when he has a lot of space. I don't know why, but that's just the case with Nkunku. But the fact is, if you're trying to court a female, or no matter what it is, or let me flip it to the female now. If you're a female and and you're interested in a male, you're gonna want to know things about that male. You're gonna want to know what they like, what things that will irritate them if you do it. So you ensure that you do your research, not in a creepy way. Whatever information you can find out, you ask. And that's the case with journalists as well, reporters. They ensure that they ask the manager certain questions. A lot of people find it stupid, but that's just how the media works. You ask them. So you say, "Oh, so Maresca, I saw that you played James in the midfield. Why was the reason behind that?" Simple. That's a simple example. But the thing is, I do research. My channel is driven around player analysis, manager analysis, tactical analysis, player breakdown, whatever the case may be. I ensure that I know the personnel at the club so that if they don't do certain things, I know why. So the likes of, although I keep saying I want Enzo Fernandez to do certain things, and Enzo Fernandez will never do some of those things because that's not the player that he is. And if he's not going to be that type of player, that's fine because that's just the case. I know the player that we signed because I did my research on him. Lavia, I knew about his injury record. I was hoping he would get better. It hasn't. Wesley Fofana, I remember the debate that was on Chelsea Perspective a couple of years ago when Chelsea Perspective was in its peak. When Chelsea Perspective had multiple people like Roger, God bless his soul. Um, gosh, man, yeah, rest in peace, Roger. Every time I'm gonna find a way to try to move past that. It still hurts. Uh but yeah, in those when the debates were on, when they were hot, people, we're discussing when you had 6 7 people on the panels all at the same time, talking about different things. So I knew the players. I did my research on the players. I know, and this is the case. I knew what Maresca is like this, and just so I can respond to what DJ says here. The point is Maresca is not learning from his mistake. Um, that is going to be debatable to some people. I get what you're saying, and I have to agree with you to some extent. Um, I don't think he's learning from his mistakes in some sense. Um, I I don't understand why certain players were not started in terms of a right back. I get it. Chalobah on the ball, fantastic. He played as a right back somewhat on the Tuku. He played like that in on loan at other clubs. He played in the midfield, all of that. I know that. I'm aware of that. But the fact is, certain players needed to play in the match against Ipswich from the beginning. And we saw what happened when certain players were brought on. We saw what they could do. And maybe some players are impact sub. Maybe certain players needed to be rested. Maybe some players needed to come off the bench so that they could make an impact. But the fact is, there's some things that Maresca did that drove me crazy in this match. The slow build up killed me because I'm saying you're 2-0 down. Why in God's name are you doing the slow build up? But I say, no, what, let me wait. So let me wait and see. We be come back, and we came back disappointing, embarrassing to be having to accept a draw. But as I said, Chelsea are different. Chelsea have changed. But this is the situation, and I'm gonna conclude with this as well. Um, the fact is, Enzo Maresca and Chelsea, for what we're doing right now, some people, I contradict what I'm saying as well. I don't know what DJ thinks about that. And right, you spoke about the right back situation as well, DJ. But I think for right now, based on the model, I think Maresca was the ideal manager, or a manager who respects the youthful players. People are saying get another manager in, and I think that certain managers did not come to the club because of the whole model of the young players. Because a lot of these managers that we were linked to, they want young players, yes, but they want experienced players, and right now we don't have much of that. So the fact is, I think in terms of Maresca man management, in terms of the young players, I think was the perfect fit. Going forward, I don't think Maresca is the man to lead Chelsea to the promised land completely. I think that he could have potentially um, the what kind of manager can I use to say brought building the foundation, and then another manager came in. I wouldn't say Claudio Ranieri because Claudio Ranieri actually was close to giving Chelsea that Premier League title before Jose Mourinho came in. But similar to that, build a foundation, and a new manager comes in probably with a few of his own players. The other players that are there from the beginning or from the early days, that understand the identity of the club, are there to help to mold. Even though some of those experienced players understand the culture of the club. So I think Maresca right now probably is the perfect option, but I don't think he's the long term option. And I'm going to say this as well. I think Chelsea should not get Champions League. I don't want to see Chelsea in the Champions League. This current team in the Champions League would be an embarrassment. I don't think they would do well in the Champions League, especially with the model and what I see being planned and what I've been told. I am not talking about my sources on the channel much. But based on what I've heard in terms of transfer news related, I don't think that Chelsea getting Champions League would be the best thing in terms of what they would do right now. I think Europa League is what they need to do right now, and I think it would benefit the young players. I want Chelsea to win the Conference League, I should say, so that the young players have a feeling of how it feels to win a trophy. Would have been nice if we had won the Carabao Cup on the Pochettino, I should say, against Liverpool, but it did not happen, and that's life. It happens. Um, I mean, that is a fair argument, coach. That there isn't anything to say that we haven't seen anything to suggest that. I get that, but there's some things and I've said this before. Enzo Maresca is his worst enemy. He overcomplicates things when it can be simple, and I always say this: football is simple. You don't need to overcomplicate things. Do the basic, get the job done. It does not have to be tiki taka football. That's it. Um, Big up to you, SKFC. I hope you're good. Big up. I'm watching. I don't know if you're a subscriber that would have subscribed recently, and I don't want to butcher your name, but thank you for watching this very late stream, and I believe uh if you're new, please subscribe. If you're not new, thank you for watching. Um, I don't want to butcher your name because I'm horrible with names, but thank you for watching. I'll just say that. Thank you for watching. Um, but DJ says when you have an excellent manager like Javi out there, he would come in now and do a better job. However, Saki Moresca now probably not the right idea. I want to see it work with him, but of late, oh, I'm losing confidence. Javi, Javi. Oh my gosh. Okay. But I mean, yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. But yeah, just to say this. I get what you're saying, DJ. Bring back up the comment. Um, I get what you say. There are experienced managers out there. Excellent manager. I don't know about Javi being an excellent manager. What he has won, his CV, he speaks for itself. As a player, it speaks for itself. Excellent is I don't know about excellent, but I mean, he's won the La Liga. He's won Spanish cups as a manager. I'll give him that. What he did before coming to Barcelona, it speaks for itself as well. But excellent, I don't know. I get what you're saying. There are experienced managers out there. There's managers who've been in the business long enough that you could have gone for. I get that. But um is it worth sacking him? Oh, okay, I guess it. Better than Maresca in terms of winning. Yeah, that's fair enough. But what I'll say, because I'm gonna conclude this soon. Because it's about the 45th minute mark, and as soon as I say that, everybody leaves. So sad. Um, but the thing is, I think Chelsea need to get Europa League. I think they should. I don't want to see them get Champions League because if they do, I don't think they're gonna finish well in that competition or even challenge. So right now, I think build from the and I said this. I tried making a post on X that failed, but I've said this: build from the ground up. It's a very ridiculous statement, and I've said it numerous times, and I've heard many people say build from the ground up. Obviously, you can't build from the roof come down. If you do that, you're gonna have problems. But build from the ground up. You can start with the floor first or the walls. Then you build the floor. Then you obviously add some tiles. You add the door. Then you build the roof. Whatever the case may be. If you build the roof, then you go down. It's gonna be madness. So I think build from the ground up with these young players. If you're gonna try to build a dynasty with which the managers, the owners are trying to do, I think that's the best thing to do. Yeah, and Europa is easier as well. I do agree with that. Europa is easier. So I would say get Europa League first. Um, I get that, and there's something interesting going on here. Coach says Javi will not succeed. I mean, there's nothing to say. I'm gonna use what you said. I mean, I have not seen anything to suggest that Javi can or cannot succeed in the Premier League. I have not seen anything that says that. Um, and you're saying Europa is easier. That is true. DJ says, "Sorry, coach, you can't say he will not be successful." That's fair. Um, Ruben, that is. I mean, I'm not gonna base what I'm seeing happen at Man United to say if Ruben Amorim can succeed in the Premier League. I'm not gonna say that because we've seen, although Eric Ten Hag, not the greatest of managers, but what has happened to a lot of managers. Look at Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho was the last manager before Eric Ten Hag to win them a trophy. Manchester United, that is. And look what happened. Are they gonna show? Well, if Manchester City, get if they get punished, you never know. Oli may end up winning the Premier League. You never know. He may get accredited winning that. But just to conclude, because I keep saying in conclusion, and I keep going backwards. But what I will say is this, so I will just say this, and then I'll probably just, if you guys have any questions or anything, I'll just conclude that. But just so I can conclude my point, I'm no longer frustrated. I had a 3-hour rant on the channel already, and so I'm no longer frustrated. I'm saddened. It breaks my heart to see that this is how Chelsea is. I'm embarrassed to show my face on campus because obviously I'm in university. For those people who know that, I'm embarrassed. I'm afraid to wear this shirt sometimes because people are gonna say, "Oh, you support Chelsea. Chelsea are shite," and all that. But at the end of the day, I'm no longer frustrated. All those days are gone. After that Ipswich match, I know it, and I even had a stream about this a couple weeks ago, probably 6 weeks ago. I said that Chelsea are not getting Champions League. I don't see Chelsea getting top 4. It's not impossible, but I don't see. I still don't see, and I stick to that. So that's just the conclusion of the first episode of. When I say this, it's gonna remind me of what the channel was once called. The first episode of Thai Talk. I'm gonna have the show as much as possible going forward. It's gonna be called Thai Talk. This is episode 1 of Thai Talk. So it's a parody of TED Talk. Thai Talk. For DJ Chelsea perspective, you will know about Thai Talk. Oh my gosh, Thai Talk CFC. The name that this channel was once called before I rebranded to Chelsea Session. So episode 1 of Thai Talk. Thai Talk makes the return. So yeah, that's what I have to say. But let me see what you guys have to say because I'm gonna give me a couple seconds. I'll be right back. I'll be back. It won't take me too long, but I'll be right back. Give me about 15 seconds. Let me get my water. I'm dehydrated. I'll be right back. Right, so I'm back, but I'm just gonna drink some water. So bear with me. It's very, very, very. I'm very dehydrated. I've been talking consistently for the past 43 minutes, so I think you guys can understand. Man, I don't know what it is, man, but whenever you're thirsty and you drink water, it always water has water doesn't have any taste, but it always tastes better when you're dehydrated, man. When you drink the water, because anyways, I'm gonna stop talking about that. But yeah, let's see what he says. So coach says, honestly, I am shameless. More importantly, I haven't seen anything I didn't expect to happen. Fair enough. Ty, also go and check the remaining fixtures of all the teams fighting for a top 5 finish. We'll be there. Fair enough. I mean, yeah. Let me do this quickly. Let me do this quickly. Thank you for the idea. So just to wrap this up, just let me quickly do this. Right. So this is the. Okay, oopsie. This is failing me right now, but it is what it is. All right, so The next match. So okay. So Bournemouth and Fulham. Let me go back to the. Let me look at the. Okay. Let me do this quickly. Uh. Okay, that's not gonna work. Okay. Let me do this. So EPL table. Okay. So this is the EPL table. Let me share this tab quickly. So Fulham are well. Fulham are there, but also not there. To be honest, they were 6 points clear, but anything can happen in a matter of moments. Fulham are playing tomorrow, probably today for some persons, especially those who are from the UK. I will say this: Fulham are playing. Bournemouth are also playing. Bournemouth are not really much of a challenge to us right now, but um, Fulham more so 6 points behind us. Let me look at this. All right, so we're 1 point behind City, 2 points behind Newcastle, 3 points behind Nottingham Forest. So we can see how tight this is. We're level on points with Aston Villa, so it's very tight. Pause. You know what I mean, by the way, guys. Don't get in the funny business. Um, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so where is it? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? No, I was at the wrong place. Okay, right. So Newcastle Crystal Palace did not take place, so they have that game in hand. This on okay, so the game in hand that Newcastle have will no longer be. Wow, I just realized something. Newcastle's game in hand against Crystal Palace on Wednesday means that they could move potentially 5 points clear of us. That's crazy. Wow, I just thought about that. Bournemouth versus Fulham, as I said. So that's that. Brentford, Brighton. Brighton and Brentford are not really much of a challenge to us right now, but I get that. City will be playing Everton, so they could potentially remain ahead of us, or based on 1 point or even 4 points, depending on what happens. Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, Villa Hello, lads. I'm so sorry, man. I was kicked off. This is what happens when you're using, using free Wi-Fi that is very weak, and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people are using the exact same network as you. Um, so I lost connection for a good while, but yeah, I'm back now. I'm back now. Um, I don't even know what okay, right. So based on what coach says, City will not beat Everton. That's one thing. But yeah. This has made me lose everything now. Um, I'm gutted. Honestly, I'm very gutted. Very gutted. But DJ, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Hey, big up, bro. You're all right.
Uh, as okay as I can be. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just saw you cut off for a little. I'm thinking, is everything okay with you, mate? Because I don't know what happened to you there.
Yeah. 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 It was a connection. Connection. I lost connection. Yeah.
Oh, see. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm just listening to what you were saying in your stream, bro. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, I know I was saying anything about Maresca, just talking about Maresca earlier on. I was just saying the reason why I feel he got his tactics wrong today because I thought the first game we played against when we played him the first time round, he did the same situation where he played a centre back as a right back, and you're having two right backs on the bench, and it just didn't make sense. And why are we playing three at the back anyway at home to Ipswich Town? I didn't get that today, to be honest with you. And look, listen, it was just my observation today. I know other people have different opinions, and views. But I just think when you're playing at home to a team like Ipswich with by the way, no Delap even starting in the game today, we should have been winning this game today, bro. Simple as that. We should have won this. Should have been winning this game, not being 2-0 down and then coming back to draw this game. So yeah, it's obviously worrying because obviously people saying this was probably our easiest fixture out of all the fixtures that we've been playing. And what I worry if we're going to slip up like this against Ipswich with Fulham and Everton coming up, which is supposed to be the other easiest games to be winning. And then you got the final hard run towards the end. What we're going to be like? And you saw what Newcastle done to Manchester United today, man. Absolutely thumped them today, big time. So and they got a game in hand on top of that as well. They win that on Wednesday. We're going to be further behind them. Do you know that? So it is worrying, bro. It is worrying, and look, hopefully we can do it.
Yeah. Fair enough. And that's the thing. And that's the gutting thing. But I did this on X as well. I went about predicting what I think the remaining results at that time would have been 9 matches left. Obviously, drawing to Ipswich means that that prediction went out the window. I said 3 wins in a row. In terms of the 3 wins in a row. 3 wins? Is it 3 wins in a row? No, it would no, not in the Premier League. Yeah, it is. It would have been
What's that?
three. No, it wouldn't have been. No, it would have been no. I
because we
predicted
lost.
a win.
Because we lost to Arsenal, didn't we?
We drew. We drew it. Yeah. No, not 9. I don't remember what it was. No, it was after the Arsenal match. I don't think it's 9 matches. Whatever match it was, Spurs.
Yeah.
I said Spurs would be a win.
Spurs.
I said Brentford would be a draw. I said this match would have been a win, but it was a draw, so that's out the window. So I have had to alter it. For the match against Fulham, funny enough, which is crazy because we literally after we played Ipswich. Was it Ipswich? We played Ipswich first or Fulham first. I don't remember who we played first in December.
When
It's
what in
Fulham
this
first.
running now? What in this
No,
running now? Or when we
No.
lost both the games?
In December, when we lost both of the games, was it? We played Fulham first, right?
No, we played Fulham first, and then Ipswich was supposed to be the win after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we ended up losing to Ipswich as well.
Right. So and that's the that's the thing,
Yeah, I mean,
so
look, bro. Yeah, go on.
yeah, go on. No, go on.
No, bro, no, it's me. It's my. There's a repeat thing on you. That's probably why I thought you'd finished talking. Go on. You carry on, bro.
No. You can go on. I was finishing what I was saying.
No, listen, I know, I know what I said earlier on in the comments regarding Xavi, and I know Kachila come back at me about Amrin, but about saying Amrin, it's not working out at United. Listen, the reason why I said Xavi, okay, maybe use the terminology of saying he's an excellent manager. All I'm saying is, if I'm making a comparison to Maresca, he's a better manager. Simple as that. Whether people like to accept it or not, he's a better manager. We've seen what he's done with Barcelona and what he'd done before that. I'm not saying he's the right guy to bring in now. I'm not saying to even sack Maresca. All I'm basically saying, when people are saying there's no managers out there, there is a manager that can come in and take over. But like I said, it'd probably be a stupid thing to sack Maresca now, because as I said at the start of the season, when he came into came into managers, I did say on Coachilla's stream as well that I want to see him see out his 5-year contract. But I'm just starting to lose a bit of confidence in him, and I'm not going back on that, by the way, because I'm just starting to lose a bit of confidence on him now because of what his tactics are. I mean, he's doing the same old mistakes. We can't seem to be beating teams that we should be beating, and and you have to, and whether people like to accept it or not yet. Poch would have never, under Pochettino, would have probably not lost this game, and that is saying something. I know people don't want to hear that, but that's just facts. And you know how much, and you know how we all feel about Poch, and it's in general, being Chelsea fans, he should have been our manager in the first place. But he would have definitely not lost this game today. So, I'm just saying how things. And he would have set up the team properly as well today. He would have not been playing. A centre back playing as a right back, especially when the first time round you lost that game to Ipswich in the same way. And like I said already earlier on, why are we playing a back three at home to Ipswich Town? We should be going and winning this game all out, especially when they've got no Delap. They were Delapless today in the team. Completely, they had no, like I said, no Delap in the team. Delapless for me, and we still can't go and do them guys over.
The
That's
lapless.
embarrassing, bruv.
The
It's embarrassing, mate.
lapless.
Delapless, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Minus Delapless
Oh
today,
my
and we still
gosh.
couldn't let them do them, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Lapless. Oh
Nah,
my god. It's hilarious. The
it is,
lapless.
bruv. It
I
is.
did
It's
not
true, though,
that
isn't
that's an interesting adjective. The lapless.
Well, they were though,
Oh
weren't they,
my
bro?
gosh.
They were the lapless today. They still managed to do us today with 2 goals from other players on that pitch. Do you know what I
Two,
mean?
and the funny thing is both goals were on a transition as well. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh,
oh man.
man. Yeah, so that's a good thing. And we I mean, I think we were lucky to come back and get a point.
Yeah.
Applaudis to Sancho, which I know a lot of people are divided on Sancho, but I've
Yeah.
never given up on. I've defended Sancho so many times. That's one player I did not do a player profile video on the channel,
Mm.
but watching Sancho for so many seasons. Obviously before he went to United, when he went back to Dortmund on loan. You could see that the player is there. I just feel as if I don't know what it was at Man United, and I get see people are disappointed because when he could take shots, he doesn't take shots. Sometimes he outskills himself. He
Yeah.
does tricks to the point where he tricks himself. I get that, but you can see that there's a great player in him, and the thing is when you expect that player to be taking more shots when most of his career he's not been a player that looks to strike the ball and score goals and be more of a creator, because that's what he was known at Dortmund, and that's what he did when he went
Yeah.
back to Dortmund as well, being a creator, helping them to get to the final of the Champions League as well. Those things are what he did, and a lot of people don't know that, or they know it, but they don't want to accept it, and that's the thing. So I'm happy that he got the strike off, and I was hoping that he would get the goal,
Yeah.
and he did, and people were saying about the Spurs goal. Nah, man, that was way better than the Spurs goal, way better. I get he went past two players and he ran and then he curled it into the net against Spurs, but that little top almost top bins goal
Yeah.
uh well against Ipswich is obviously, I think that was better, and I'm happy for him. If he can do that more, fantastic. Madueke was disappointing to me. I thought after scoring 2 goals, well, I know it was Liga Warsaw, and that's no disrespect to them, because the match was not easy as I expected it would have been.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pretend as if like the match was a walk through the park. The second half was a tale of a different story. But I mean, I thought he would have, scoring 2 goals, returning would have been fantastic, and I thought he would have probably been on the score sheet. Didn't happen. But it is what it is. I'm I,
Yeah.
I was disappointed for sure. But yeah, what you saying?
No, listen. I mean, I think unfortunately I couldn't get to the game today because of religious things today, because it was Palm Sunday today, so I couldn't really get a chance to get to the
Hmm.
game today.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot of my friends did go down that went to the game today, and they were just saying we were just so they couldn't believe I mean, they were obviously, I mean, they were cheering on it, but they couldn't believe the tactic. They just couldn't believe what was going on with us today. I mean, obviously, people are saying, the fan that, a lot of people are saying that, I know some people are thinking that the fan base is not cheering on the team as it used to do. I can tell you now, right now, being going chance, obviously going to matches. I didn't get to this game, but the fan, but the fans still cheering for the team. There's no doubts about it. Obviously, I go back being a fan from how long ago watching games, right? As you know, Ty, yeah. And the fact that, we all know what nights European nights are like at Stamford Bridge. They're mad. Even in games to this day are still mad. It's just of late people are saying it's like a library at Stamford Bridge. The fans are still cheering on the teams. It's just unfortunately you're starting to get some fans now in the Chelsea fan base now starting to question Maresca, and that's not because they're used to winning over the years or whatever it might be. And we're talking about old school fans as well that have been going to games for years that are starting to question what Maresca's doing at the club in terms of what he's doing. And listen, all these players that he's got that people can say they've all the cards that he's been dealt with. A lot of them we can say shouldn't be Chelsea players, but they are. We can blame the sporting directors for what they're doing, bringing in these players as they are. Okay, but you still should be able to put our team out there to go and beat Ipswich Town. I'm sorry, look where they are in the table, bro. Well, look, I mean, obviously they beat us. They beat us. They obviously beat us in December, right? But look how many points they've picked up in how many of their matches now, and we can't even go and beat them. So we're being charity FC again, bro. Yeah, and this is why it's disappointing seeing it as a fan, because I know we're better than this. I know we are, and I just feel like how he set up the team today. And I know people can, and I know people have got their different views and opinions on it. I just think he did not need to go defensive today as he did today, as he did. He should have just gone and done his usual thing, got the winning game, got us in winning in a win in getting us to win the game, and then you make your changes at half time if you need to, if you want to, if you want to help, if you want to try and rest players for certain games, you do that, but go and get the win first, and then do that rest. People say Reece James can't start more than. I reckon Reece James can start more than just one game. He needs to get a couple of runouts now. Gusto, another one you bring off the bench, okay, and the minute he comes off, yeah, we change. We go and score a goal. I mean, it's what I'm trying to say. There's certain things that I'm starting to watch from Maresca now, and I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing? I don't even know if we even got an identity at Chelsea, to be honest with you, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to actually figure out what exactly is this guy trying to play at Chelsea. What is his identity? What is he? In the very beginning, yeah, people say, yeah, well, look, well, DJ, look what we were doing before Christmas. I get that, but people saying we had an identity then. Yeah, we were just winning our games, but for whatever reason or another, okay, that's gone out the window, and we're just going back to being the ways of what we were last under the times of Graham Potter, which is embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? We shouldn't be that way, But anyway, as I said, everyone's got their views and opinions. I know sometimes I have to sometimes like on mine, because I think people sometimes think that I'm being a bit too, what do you call it? But I'm not. As I said, I've been a fan for many, many years now. I know exactly, where, I've seen my team get, obviously I've seen my team get relegated, come back up. I've seen it through the bad times and the good times, but obviously the way things are at this moment in time with Maresca, I just don't think, as I said, I just sometimes don't think he knows what he's doing, to be honest with you. And that is the only reason why I've got my doubts about him at the moment. But like I said, I don't want to see him get sacked, because it'd be a stupid decision to do before the end of the season. I would give him next season as well, but he really needs to start changing his ways, because if he doesn't, you're going to start hearing from the fans eventually saying Maresca out, Maresca out. You don't know what you're doing. That's going to be the next thing that's going to start coming out of the Chelsea fan base. You don't know what you're doing. And we all know what happens on that. We all know what happens then, don't we? When that starts coming out, that chant, and it starts going around going around the ground.
Well, I mean that's one thing that I have to say I agree with you on. Obviously, sacking him would be it would do more bad than good. In all honesty, I have to be honest. It wouldn't. It would just send Chelsea backwards. So and that's why I said earlier. I think in terms of the current situation Chelsea are in, um, you may have to keep him because in the not the fans, the players, they have a lot of them have respect for him. There's some obviously I think the ones that really had problems with him, or most of them, have left. Or they would have been disappointed the way that they were giving him he was giving them game time, as he would have wanted. But I do think that in that sense, probably keeping him would probably help. And that's what I'm saying. I would prefer that the team get Europa League rather than Champions League. Europa League would be easier for them, and that's what I'm saying. When you have a young team, it's better you give them a competition where it's gonna be competitive. I'm not gonna say Europa League won't be competitive. It will be, definitely will, because there will be other teams from well, the whole format has changed now, so obviously we know that things are different. So it wouldn't be easy for them. But it would give the pressure would be less than Champions League, and it wouldn't be as highly competitive than obviously the Champions League. So I think that would be the case, and this is what I'm seeing, and I'm happy that you came on and you mentioned what you did, because the thing is, a lot of people are saying that the fans that are quote unquote impatient. A lot of people are saying that they're not accepting the reality, and I'm happy that you said that you've seen the club be relegated, the yo-yo effect, going up, going down rather, and then coming back
Yeah.
up, and all of that. So all of that is important, but the most important thing that I had said earlier before you probably joined as well, probably didn't hear it as well, was that Chelsea have gone back, not obviously not to that point where they get relegated, but in
No.
terms of the case where fans want to see success again, because obviously a lot of people say, oh, Chelsea had no history and Chelsea have no history before Roma. And we all know that that isn't true. Any proper Chelsea fan knows that winning FA Cups 1971, 19, all of those things,
19.
beating Real
Yeah.
Madrid for the European Cup and all
Yeah.
those things. So we all know those. We know the history of the club. But it's a case of wanting to see that again. Those fans who would have been supporting the club when that happened, or they would have heard about it. A lot of fans want that, or want that to be the case again. And similarly, that's the case now. We know, it obviously isn't 20 plus years in between a gap, because we obviously won the Champions League, and well, not use the Champions League. We won the my mind had gone blank now. The Club World Cup
Yeah.
in 2022. We
Yeah.
just 2022, yeah, before things went south,
No.
and we all
Yeah.
know what happened. So
2021.
so yeah, so we know that it's been what, it's 3 years ago, essentially, yeah, 3 years now, because it's been 3 years since we know what happened. Obviously, we remember that the whole thing with being not liquidated, being when everything was uh the word is evading me now. I don't know what's going on. But it basically, the whole thing where the club was,
Yeah.
was sanctioned. That's the word. Jesus,
Yeah.
man, sanctioned. Right.
Yeah.
It was just, I think it was right before Chelsea's birthday as well, which was one of the saddest thing ever. I think it was just before Chelsea turned 117. I think it was. I think it was the day before or on that day was when the sanction thing happened. Depending on when the whole
Yeah.
Russia Ukraine thing happened, I don't remember what it was, but it was around
Yeah.
that March period. Just I
Yeah.
think it was like a week or so after the Club World Cup final, when Roman had the trophy in his hand and all of that. We all remember what happened. That
Yeah.
no,
Of
it
course,
wasn't
bro.
that. No,
And
it wasn't.
no, no. I mean, what I'll also say, just to rotate what you're saying there. I mean, when anyone saying that Chelsea fans are impatient because of the changes happening in the club, I think people have got to understand what people are forgetting to realise. There's no one's being impatient. All the fans have just basically said is, you're going to make these changes. That's fine, because we all know down the line, probably most clubs are going to be buying young. Okay, That's probably going to be
Yeah.
the next thing because of this FFP and this PSR BS crap. Yeah, that's going on to be that's happening, right? So these clubs are going to go down that avenue, but it doesn't mean still you don't have to go and buy experienced players to help the players that you've got at your club. And this is what my debate has always been. You know, yes, you can go and buy all these young players, build them up, bring them in, put them on prison sentence content, prison sentence contracts. Yeah, all right, until the end, right? Yeah, and then you flip them like hamburgers in Burger King, and then flip them off for a profit. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. You want to go and do that kind of stuff, that's fair enough, but bring success with it as well. Don't just go and bring in players. Yeah, oh yeah, they're going to do it in the next 6 7 years. Yeah, and then they got these players need to learn from experienced players. And when you don't have experience at your football club, what are they coming in to learn? It's more from a bad environment for them to come and learn at. And this is my point has always been to everyone that's coming at me about, oh, you know what, yeah, DJ, you're being too impatient. You can't wait. I'm not being impatient. As far as I'm concerned, what I care about is owners can come and go. Yeah, owners can come and go, players will come and go, but Chelsea's always Chelsea. Yeah, that's far as I'm concerned. That is basically my thing. I wear that. I want them to play for that crest that crest that they have to play in week out. When you're seeing some of that not happening, and you're seeing some of the players have got the attitude of not wanting to play, it's sad to see that. And I saw a debate going on, about, I reckon, if you give John Terry this defense, you put John Terry in that defense today, Marcel Desailly in this defense today, yeah, we would not be struggling this badly. Yeah, because you've got experience in that team. Yeah. So for me, at the end of the day, how I'm looking at it is you need to have experience to lead these troops on. Because at the moment, we're saying Reece James is a leader. The guy he's a Cobham boy, right? He's got the captain's armband, yeah. But I think we all know here he's not leader material because he's still too young. Yes, he's a Chelsea boy through and through, yeah, and he'll carry this club no matter what. Okay, but at the end of the day, he still needs help around and have that experience around him, and that is what my doubt. That is what my thing is. For is when you don't have that, yeah, we're going to continue to struggle like this. And if fans are starting to accept the standards of Chelsea not being in the Champions League, Chelsea not competing for top four, the question I have to ask is how low have our standards dropped as fans? Because do you not want to see your club back up there again, or you want to see it being 5, 6, 10 years until it all happens again? By that time, 5, 6, 10 years. Bloody, you're allowing Aston Villa, okay? You're allowing Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest to come into it now. And again, no disrespect. I know you're a soft spot. And Newcastle are in there, bro. Yeah. So you're allowing them three clubs to come in, okay? And you're letting like Chelsea and all them lot, we're kind of like dropping off. I mean, that's embarrassing in itself. That's my point. That's what my point is. If fans are happy to see that, brilliant. We'll carry on. That's all I'm saying on that.
I mean, that's a fair point, in all honesty. I don't think anybody can debate that. Big up to you, Roderick. Before you continue, it says good to hear DJ on the show. It has been a while you've been live time.
Yeah, big up, Roderick. Big up, bro. It's been a while.
It's has it really been a while since I've been live? Are you sure about that, Roderick? I don't think it's been a while. When you say I've been a while, it sounds like you're saying I haven't been live in 2 months, which is not true. I was live 2 weeks ago actually. Chelsea Alliance with Tobago and Chelsea Perspective. So when you say a while, that's not really true, to be honest. I have to be honest, but I get what you're saying. It's good to see you as well. It's good that you're even up because I know you're in the UK. You confirm that you're in the UK. So, what are you doing up at almost 3 a.m.? That's mad. I'd ask DJ the same question, but anyways, but yeah, like you said, DJ. The thing is, we tend to not accept that fans have the right to be upset. Fans have the right to ask questions because obviously, as much as we know that the transitional period would come, and he said something that I would have mentioned earlier as well. The whole fact of Chelsea are not the first club to do it, and they will not be the last club to be signing young players. We see Man City doing that right now. Obviously, they signed Omar Mamouche, who is very young. Omar Mamouche is a young player. He's young. So I
Yeah,
mean,
he is.
well,
He
he's
is.
not young. He's young, but also not young. He's young in terms
Was
of
he
the squad they have
25
now in terms of
or
30 plus.
23?
No,
Was
he's
he 23?
26. He's
20, he's
26.
26.
He's
Wow.
26. But in terms of what they have now, like 30 plus and all that, he's young in terms of that. We know that players like Jeremy Doku, players like that. They in terms of what they would have relied upon, experience and well rehearsed players, as Bobby would say. Doku is probably a better example. He's 22 years old, so which surprises me a bit. But at the same time, I remember that because I remember him at Stade Rennais, I think it was, um, when he played
Yeah.
them in 2021. So that says a lot. He was playing at 19 years old. So I even thought he was older. So my point as well, as I said earlier, a lot of these players that you come up against, and they have experience because they've played from a young age. So by the time he's 23, 24, they have experience. So James's experience, although he's 24 years old, because he won the Champions League, he was brought in during the transfer ban period on the Lampard, and I remember that beautiful goal that he scored against Ajax. Those things will be etched in your memory. You can never forget it. I remember that glorious day when he came
Yeah.
off the bench and he salvaged a point in the group stage 4-4 against Ajax. So those things tend to happen. But I mean, as you said, we knew that it would happen eventually. The transitional period is going to happen. And we see City are going through it
Yeah.
right now. City are falling off. So they recognize that they need to build for the future. I'm gonna ask you for a favor, DJ. Can you step in for a while? I need to drink some water. I'm gonna cough now.
Yeah, bro.
I'm
I mean, look,
dehydrated.
yeah, I mean, Manchester City, what I'll say about Manchester City, in terms of you're saying they've fallen off, the bottom line is they're still where they are. Yeah, they've fallen off from winning the league this season, but they still got their same players in that team. They've still got experienced players in there to help the new players they've brought in. So for me, in that kind of like way, they're still doing things the right way, even though they have gone and bought younger than what they usually do and go and buy, but they still brought younger players in there, okay, to and you got the experienced players to help them out. So my point being the same thing. All I'm saying about our team is we should be doing the same thing. Buy all the youngsters, that's fine, but you need to have a spine in your team where you've got that experience in your team as well. And when when you're trying to build a team with Sanchez in goal, and then you got Tosin, Adebayor and Levi Corwell leading as your centre back pairing. Yeah, and then you've got in your midfield, okay, Enzo Caicedo. I have to say, Enzo's improved a lot in his game to where he was last season. So you can say maybe our midfield is good. And you're looking at our striking partners up front. Who do we have up there? We've got Jackson, who's just come back from injury and he's struggling to find form. I don't think he's scored since last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's even scored this year. Right. So that is a worry when you
Sorry,
Jackson.
who?
Has
Sorry,
Jackson
who?
scored this year?
I
I
don't
think he
think
scored
so. Has
last in
he?
December, right? He's not even. That's how bad.
Yeah. When did he get injured? When
Yeah,
did he
I
get
think. Yeah,
injured again? That's the next thing.
yeah. I don't think. I think he last scored in December. I got to check. I got to go and check back on it, but I think he did. I mean, but what I was saying is earlier. What I will say though, Ty, is in terms of Manchester City. Yeah, they are doing what they're doing now, young, but they've still got Kevin De Bruyne on there. They've still got, you still got like who else in there? You've still got Diaz in there. Okay, you've still got these older players that are around to help this younger team. Bernardo Silva now, who's probably I'll put him in there now as a senior player in that team, who's helping these players come through. Yeah, you look at Chelsea's team, who do we have? Well, I think Tosin is 26, 27, probably the
Oh
oldest
no,
one in
no,
that
he
team.
did score. Sorry, not to cut you, but According to this, Jackson
Did
scored on the 13th of March 2025.
he?
Is
I
that
can't
true?
remember,
No,
bro.
he didn't. No, he did not. That's not true.
I
That
don't
is not
remember, but
true.
maybe he did. I thought he had an injury before that, but anyway, yeah, I can't remember, but if he did. Uh,
What?
I'm sorry, who did he score
Did
against?
he?
Are you sure?
No, no, he did not. No, that's not true. That's not true. He
Maybe
didn't.
I got to
No, he
check back on
didn't.
it, bro. You're probably right. I just got to check. But
No,
as
he's.
I was
I
saying,
just checked. We played Copenhagen on the 13th of March, and he did not even play that match. So that's not true. He came back recently,
so
so
he didn't
that's not
score.
even true.
Yeah,
I
because I'm
don't think
just
he
trying to
has
think when
then.
he scored. I remember when he scored. Wasn't his last goal actually against? Was it actually when
Brentford,
we
yeah,
beat
Brentford. I remember it was
Brentford?
Brentford because I remember hearing the commentator today. Well, today for me, yesterday for you, saying that his last goal came against Brentford. Yeah,
And
so
that
it
was
was
last
last
year,
year.
right? It was last
Yeah,
year. That's what I
right.
thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's worrying. I mean, as I said, but as I was going back to Man City, but at least they've still got people. They've still got the senior players in that team. Yeah, and and us, as I said, I think Tosin being 26, 27, Reece James is now 25. Okay, again, though, for me, yeah, he can tell everyone about the Chelsea DNA. Chalobah the same, but they're still young. These are still young. I mean, for me, that you need players to come in there, and as I said, we don't have that in this team at this moment in time, and this is why I fear, even if we get into Champions League next season, Ty, right? Are we going to buy the right players to take us in that competition? That's my other worry. Or are they going to go back to the old drawing board again of, okay, we're going to buy this kid from this 18-year-old kid that we're linked with from Real Betis. Is it Hernandez, this winger? So is he going to come in and solve our winger position now? Is he? I mean, this is what I'm trying to say, bro.
Ah, Cucho
Again,
Hernandez.
I think it's Hernandez. I think that's his name. I can't remember. I think it is his name, Hernandez. We're linked with him,
You said
and then
Real
we're linked with,
Betis.
and then I'm seeing obviously Delap's going to be our main striker. Ikakite is another one. Or Itatike is the other one that's probably been mentioned. I've seen today. Apparently, West Ham apparently have had talks. I know not many PMs want to say it, but West Ham have had talks with Jonathan David's representatives today, and they're actually quite happy about the talk, the deal that could be happening there. So he could end up going to West Ham, and he was heavily linked with Chelsea. He's what, 25 now? Probably by the time we get him, he'll be
Yeah.
26,
Wow.
right?
Wow. I remember how many years you've been calling for that guy.
Yeah, but I'm
You've
not saying
been
he's
saying
the
that
answer,
his
bro.
name.
I've been saying it, yeah, but I'm not saying
No,
he's the
I know,
answer. For
but I'm
me,
just saying because you just said he's 25. So
yeah,
I'm
bro.
saying
Yeah.
he
I mean,
was
for
so young
years I've been
then.
going on about him.
Look at that
I
now.
think Ty. My two
Come on.
choices, and I'm going to stick with them. Whether anyone, I know, Kachilla has something against it, but I'm going to say it. I either want Osimhen or I want Gyökeres at Chelsea. Simple as that. They are my two. They are my two strikers. I want to see come to Chelsea next season. But are they going to happen? No, they're not. You watch. I listened to Sky in midweek. This Carve guy was talking about the Chelsea strikers that are linked. Osimhen's name was mentioned as the last striker on that list, and he's the oldest out the whole lot that we're linked with. What does that tell you?
Yeah.
What does that tell you about pursuit of Victor Osimhen? It's probably not going to happen, bro. So you're more likely going to see a Delap, Ikakite, or even maybe Jonathan David. Who else has been? Or Benjamin Sesko. They're the ones that have been mentioned. All right. Are they going to be enough to get us? Are they going to be? Okay, I know Frankfurt currently have got Europa League. He's got Europa League experience, right? Because he obviously scored against Spurs the other day. I mean, everyone scores against Spurs. Let's be real here. But I'm just saying, he's still a good striker. He's next. I'm not going to knock him as a striker. He's a good striker. But is he going to be our answer for next season, or is he going to need an experienced striker next to him? You know what I'm saying, bro? There's a lot of things to think about. And listen, if we're going to go with, I know what you said about Sanchez earlier on, bro. If we're going to go with Sanchez next season in goal for Champions League, man, and we get in there, man, you might as well forget about it, mate, because we're going out of that competition straight away, bro, with him in the goal. Oh, my days. Hopefully not, mate. Petrovic comes in there, man. Rather see Petrovic back in goal.
Gosh, man. I'm having visions about how that would be. Jesus Christ. You see, we face a Real Madrid. Mbappe.
Oh my God, yeah. And Sanchez is just gifted him another goal. Just made it so easy for Mbappe. Sat him on his backside and he put it into the back of the net. I mean,
You know,
God, mate. I mean,
it reminds me of that. It reminds me of when Mendy. I think it was Mendy. Yeah, when Mendy was started having his fall off, and he passed the ball right to Benzema. Benzema just put it right past him. Oh gosh.
and I'll say another thing right now, Ty. Those who don't think, let me just put this out there for a lot of the fans out there, and put this in a real thing for people don't really. Those who think that Cole Palmer's going to stick around Chelsea, all right, for the next 2 years. Let me tell you this right now: if Chelsea do not make Champions League in the next 2 years, that guy's out of here. He's gone. Yeah, he's gone. And same with Enzo Fernandez, he's gone. Yeah, the only one who might stay low is probably Caicedo. Yeah. Okay. probably out of the whole. If you were to put me out and say who would you think would stay out, I probably would say Caicedo out of the three of them. Yeah. And all it takes is a big money move. And listen, let's be real here. People talk about 150 million plus to get you Cole Palmer. Right? I bet you any money here, Real Madrid coming with 120 million offer, he'll go. They'll sell him. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubts about that, especially if we don't get Champions League football. And this is why it's so vital as well. It doesn't matter how many years. People can sit there and say, well, he's on a 7-year contract, DJ. It don't matter. Contract, we all know in football to this day. And contracts mean jack. Everyone knows that. They don't mean nothing. Yeah? If an offer comes down for a player, they're going to be sold. Simple as that. Especially, I'm sorry to say this, especially with these lot, because if the money is good, they'll sell him. There's not going to be no doubt on that one. They'll sell him. Yeah, and he won't stick around because he wants to go and play. The guy, listen, we all know Cole Palmer right here is way up there. And I know he's had a probably crappy second half of the season right here because of his injury not helping, and he's not probably the same place. So people are going to say, well, he should be lured to Chelsea. That's not like that boy is a Chelsea boy, is he? He came from Manchester City. You don't need to stay loyal.
He's a Manchester United fan as well. So I mean, there's no.
Yeah, exactly. He's got no ties to the football club, apart from being stuck down on a prison contract. Yeah, but like I said, if he ends up getting more, if the money comes in for him, I bet you they'll sell him. Bet you they'll sell him for the right price. This is why I'm saying no one is untouchable at our football club anymore, bro. Yeah, and I tell you another one who could go off the books is Reece James. You know why Reece James will go, Ty? Because he's on £250,000 a week. They need to clear that. Because Sterling is on what, 300 and something thousand a week, right? Yeah, highest paid player at the club at this moment in time is Raheem Sterling, right? I think Reece James is the second highest after him. So if they want to get him off the books, sell money, they'll sell him. That's what I'm trying to say. No Chelsea player in this team is not sellable. They're all assets. Every single one of them are assets, and the fan base have got to start getting their heads around that. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. But don't worry, we've got Estavo William coming in next season, so he's going to be the next big thing to come in. And this poor kid is going to have all the pressure on him next season to produce for us. Yeah, and if he doesn't, I can see the fan base turning on him as well. So, yeah, it's one of those things, man. But hey, here we are. All right. Ty, you got off, bro.
Oh my days, man!
Ty,
Why?
you there, bro? What happened, man? I just
My
heard
connection
you
is
like.
my connection is just cutting out. Is cutting out. The thing is, it's not even the connection. The laptop just froze because I was trying
Yeah,
to update
I didn't
I was
know.
trying to update the thumbnail and it just kicked me off
Yeah,
StreamYard.
I didn't know when to talk or what, bro, because I didn't know what was going on. You know.
Well, yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bro. I mean, I'm not being the bird, the the bearer of bad news here, but I'm just putting it out there because look, because I know there is a lot of people that are so trustworthy of what's going on at our football club, and they think everything that's going well at our football club is great. But I don't know if people are aware, but we're in debt now. You know that? Don't know if that's been mentioned at all, but we're in debt. And and I like the way they're trying to make a spin off it, all and blaming Roman Abramovich for it, which is nothing to do with him, by the way, because this debt's actually happened within the last 2 years of the football club. Last time I checked, Roman left before that. So, and we all know Roman cleared the debt as well. Let's be real here. 1.5 million debt was cleared. His money's still lying in a bank account here in the UK, frozen in a bank account. But people want,
Yeah, and to me, it matters worse too. Literally, something came out recently saying that they found out that he had nothing to do with it. So the reason why he
yep,
even had to sell the club makes
yep,
no sense because they literally found out that he had it's like somebody saying, oh, you are you're guilty of I'm not gonna say because I don't want this to get demonetized, but essentially
yep,
that happens. I say, oh,
yep,
my mistake. Oh, that never happened. I'm so sorry. That's basically what it's like, and they still haven't paid over
yep.
the money.
No,
Like what?
no, they're not. And I said it before. People. This is the other thing I say is I find it more hilarious at how fans can just switch on Roman when this whole thing came out about us being in about us where our struggles were when he left the football club. It seems like how people forget very quickly what he achieved and when he was winning all those years with us and making us building successful teams and bringing in the best managers. Yeah, people can look at it and say it wasn't probably the right approach to doing sacking managers, but let's be real here. I know I'm not saying we're Real Madrid, but Real Madrid have done it for many years to come. They've done it for years and years and years, and have been successful for doing that story of sacking managers and winning trophies. Roman was doing the same thing, but okay, I know we're not as big as Real Madrid. History would tell you that, I get that, but at the end of the day, he was doing what he thought was right, and we were still winning. Yeah, but no, but people all of a sudden now blaming him for a lot of things out there. But I want to remind people that we've had our most successful years under Roman. And as I said before, he bought our club, we were winning. He just took us to another level. But again, it just seems to get the minute these new guys have come in, it seems to have just been kicked out the window now with him. So again, if I say any more in it, bro, I know I'm going to get blasted by people. So do you know what I mean? I've got to say less on it than what I do, but I've got my own views and opinions, and then personally I don't care what people think really of my views and my opinions. Really don't. So yeah, mate, but we are, but like I said, though, mate, we got to make Champions League, mate. It is a must for obviously for reasons. I mean, people are saying, oh, but they said, for 3 or 4 years, we can't afford to make it 3 or 4 years. I mean, 2 years is bad enough. 3 years is going to be bad enough being at the Champions League, right? Can we really afford to go on another 2 years? And manager said it, didn't he? Let's be real here, Nick Ty, right? Before Christmas, yeah, when we were winning all them games, people were saying, "Oh, no, no Chelsea fan was complaining before we were winning." No one was complaining. Yeah, you're right. That's because the players were allowed to play their game. They were to go out there and they were smashing teams for fun. It's just that when you get told in the press conference and he comes out publicly and says it, oh well, I was told I don't need to get Champions League. I was told I don't need to compete for the Premiership title. Well, we all know you're not going to compete for the Premiership title because we don't have the squad for that yet. However, as I said at the start of the season, I said it, and I went on your stream and I went on a few other streams, and I said I expect Chelsea to finish top four this season and win a trophy because this team is good enough for that because of last
I
season.
remember. I remember.
And
I remember the infamous moment with you and Bobby, and it was the first time you and Bobby ever did. I remember when you.
yeah, I said for the first time, I said we're not going to challenge for the Premiership title because we're still away from that. However, I do expect us to challenge for the top four place this season, okay, and also win a trophy because this team is more than capable of doing it. more than capable of doing it. They've just got to be managed well. And, you know, and then we saw after that the public talk that went out. Oh, I've been told that I don't need to win the Premiership. I've been told I don't need to win any trophies, or top four's not a must. We all knew what happened. We all know the downfall after that, don't we? And then all of a sudden, after Brighton beat us again, this is the other thing I started. This is the funny thing of all as well, Ty. When Brighton beat us for the second time this season, right? Okay, well, they beat us, I should say, when they beat us, right? All of a sudden, top four became a must. How strange that is, isn't it? The top four is a must. It's a must now after we lost to Brighton. And yet Chelsea fans have been saying it. Top four is a must from the very, very beginning, mate. From the very beginning, top four is a must, along with the trophy. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, anyway.
Damn.
Yeah. But let's see what happens, bro. What happens? Let's see what happens. You know, I sometimes wonder he's prioritizing the conference over a Champions League spot sometimes. And you know why? Because he wants to win a trophy. That's the problem. What it is, he wants to win a trophy to make himself look good under his, for him to look good for the future. Because in case he ever is sacked at Chelsea or he leaves Chelsea, Maresca, he can let's say, yeah, I want a trophy in Europe. You want a trophy in Europe, bruv? Huh?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and for this ownership as well, isn't it? Their first trophy. Listen, I'm going to say it again, Ty, right? Yeah. Okay. I got nothing against this ownership. I don't. And this is what I've said all along. I have nothing against them. I just don't like the way they're running our football club at the moment. And I said it all along. Even on other streams, I said, I want them to prove me wrong. Yeah, that's what I'm saying there. And at this moment in time, I've said this from the day when I said this, prove me wrong, prove me wrong. And at this moment in time, I'm not seeing them prove me wrong at all, because we're seeing it all happen. We're seeing it all unfold in front of us at the moment, mate, of what's going on. Who knows? We might still end up winning hopefully, I touch wood and say, yeah, we'll win champion. We'll get to a Champions League spot come the end of the season. Will I change my view and opinions on these guys? Probably not, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Say, okay, at least we got into the Champions League. Or now that we're in there, guys, go and get us the best players to compete for this. Okay, and maybe try to up your wage structure a little bit. None of this 150,000 a week wages, which is your maximum you'll go to, because that's not going to buy you the best players. And there's no way Victor Osimhen's going to come in on 150,000 a week. I don't think even Gyökeres will come on that wage, to be honest. Even Isak. We're talking about Isak. Yeah, there's no way this guy is going to come to Chelsea on £150,000 a week if we get into the Champions League, mate. No way.
That's true. That is true.
No way. So, but let's see what happens, bro. But we have to get the Champions League. It's a must for me.
Well, I don't see it. I've said it for months now. I don't see Chelsea getting top four or Champions League. I have had to see Champions. I've had to see Champions League because people are being so funny now. Because obviously they know, because Arsenal won against Real Madrid in the first leg. They're saying top fifth place will get Champions League. So I've had to say I don't see them getting Champions League because realistically, based on how the team is playing, I don't see. And if and this is what Maresca said, and I said it earlier, and Coach said that it was misinterpreted when he said it. But the thing is, if it's a case where that fans are supposedly, because the fans are booing and say this is boring, the players are getting dejected, then that's not that mentality means that they can crack, they can push through the crack on the pressure that is set to crack them. So at the end of the day, that makes no sense. Then what's the sense? So I don't see that. And the next thing is that, and I said this earlier, I prefer when they get Europa League because the pressure would be less, and you can build up. And I would love if if we win the Conference League. There's beautiful things. We're the first ever team to win all the European competitions.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice. But at the same time, you have to still have a expectation. And as you said, I found it strange that he kept saying, fine, the title race thing, I had no problem with him saying we're not in the title race. But him saying that top four is not even a necessity. that made me frustrated because I'm saying, why would you say that? You have a young, and that is so ironic as well. I'm going backwards and I'm putting
Yeah.
everything together. But the thing is, if he's blaming the fans, why is he not blaming himself then? If he's saying that the fans booing is affecting the players, doesn't he think that him telling the players that, oh no, oh, no, 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 and people may say, he may say that in public, might he tell them something else behind the scenes. But if
Yeah.
you're going to tell tell a group of players that, oh no, top four is not a necessity. I was not told that I need to get top four. I was just told to get the results on the pitch. No, the complacency will kick in because, oh, this is not a necessity. We're not in the title race. Okay, we don't. If we drop points, it doesn't matter then. I don't. I'm not saying that's logical,
You
but if
see,
he's gonna blame the fans, why not talk about that then?
no, you see the thing of what again. I mean, he comes out and saying what gets to me right with him right here is he goes the fans are needed more than anything right now, right? Let me tell you this right now: the fans are cheering the team on week in, week out. They're cheering. They are cheering. We are cheering our team on, right? Win, lose or draw, right? Yeah, we're always cheering our team, yeah. But it's in the manner. If we were to lose a game, but we played really well, but were very unlucky in the game, you will not see a single fan boo or not cheer the team. It's when the fans are seeing there's no effort from the players and they feel the way that the team has been set up by the coach. Of course, the fans are going to throw out their frustrations here because they've come to watch a game. People are not all season ticket holders. People sometimes going and spending loads of money to go and buy a ticket to come and watch a game. And then you got then sometimes you can sometimes see, sometimes I'm say says to Chelsea, but sometimes you can see dross being played on that pitch. Of course, fans have got every right to, to get their frustrations out because that means you're not a proper. If you don't do that, that means that shows you don't care about your club. All the fans that are doing this shows they care and they love their club because they want to see their club back at the top. Okay, and at the end of the day, when you're seeing there's no effort being made on the pitch, or when you've seen that the manager has set up the team. I mean, I looked at that team today and I'm thinking, why are we playing so defensively at home to Ipswich Town? Why are we playing a defensive team? Why are we set up defensively? And this is about a team who, as I said earlier on, Delapoulos, yeah? They had no Rory Delap in that team today, bro. Right? And we still could not go and get these guys, and we still couldn't go and beat Ipswich, bruv. I mean, that's what. And
The
if
lackluster.
fans are accepting that they're happy to get and let me add some more coat on this as well. How embarrassing this is, right? The last time Ipswich Town beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge was in 1979 when they beat us
1963.
4-3,
Yeah.
and Alan Brazil scored two of those goals. The man who sits on Talk
Yeah.
Sport Radio every morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
this
I
was the
think
guy who
I'm trying to
scored.
remember who said that. Somebody said that recently. I don't remember who
Yeah,
said it. I heard
I
somebody
knew
say
that
that
history before. I knew that
pre-match.
history beforehand, bro. And Bobby Robson was their manager, right? Okay, at that time. So Bobby Robson was their manager, and beat us. And then we go and draw with them at Stamford. And after that, we've got the upper hand on Ipswich ever since that, bro. And then they come to our yard today. They turn up at Stamford Bridge today. They put on a show like that, and and our team is just allowing it to all happen. And that again comes down to, yes, the team, because they should have done better than they should have defended that they should have played better than that to make sure there's goals in. But then you also look at the setup of the team as well. But hey, again, these are just my own views and my opinions on things right here. Because, as I said, I'm a Chelsea fan after all. Okay, I'm a fan like everybody else is. Okay, old school Chelsea fan, season ticket holder at Chelsea, right? Watch them week in, week out when I can get a chance, when I go down to watch all their home matches, right? And I have to say, the last couple of games, apart from the top, when we beat Tottenham, how happy I was about that, even though it was a measly, because let's be real here, we beat Tottenham every year. Tottenham's just every time that fixture comes around, I'm always saying 6 points in the bag. Every time that game comes around, every time those fixtures come out for the season, that's 6 points. Yeah, that's how I look at the Tottenham win. So if we had lost that game to Spurs, oh my days, that would have been embarrassing. But thank God it never happened. And as for Brentford, Arsenal fans were laughing at Chelsea fans, yeah, because we couldn't beat Brentford, right? Well, hey, did they not just draw with you guys yesterday as well? I guess beating Brentford, like you said, the Arsenal fans are telling Chelsea fans, hey, well, beating Brentford is not for everyone, eh? Well, yeah. It's not for everyone, all right, because your team drew with them as well. So, do you know what I mean? You know, it's just like, it's just embarrassing that the way, the fact that we drew this game today, a game that we really
36
also yesterday.
shots. Bloody hell.
Do you know?
36 shots.
Do you know how many corner kicks we had in the game as well, Ty? Did you see the stats on corner kicks?
Well, like 12, something like that.
And we only scored from one, and that was Jadon Sancho smacking it from that. What a goal that was, by the way. Yeah, but I'm just saying that from all the corner kicks we had today, we only scored from one.
Oh my gosh, that's mad.
Crazy.
36 shots. Bloody hell.
75% off the ball. They got no excuse. Not excuse. I agree, Wolfgang Division. Totally agree with you, bro. 100%, mate. No excuses at all.
Yeah.
But like I said, I've seen some fans accept that we can draw to Ipswich and like it. That's good. As I say, it just shows where our standards has gone as a It just shows where our standards has gone as a fan base.
I had to be sarcastic earlier. I was saying that I was being sarcastic. I've seen a lot of content creators. That's what I should have done for the stream. I should have been toxic positive, because that's all I'm seeing right now. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, but look at this, Maresca did this." And listen, man, listen. I as I said, we both agree. And I even said this on Wolfie's stream earlier when I was on his watch along. I don't, and I said it earlier. I don't think Maresca is good enough for Chelsea, or the Chelsea that we know of the past, or in terms of Roman era. But right now, he suits this team perfectly, because at the end of the day, he's working with young players. The young players love him, because every time we talk about him, they always praise him. So you can't ignore that. They love him. But at the end of the day, like, if we want to be up here again and be in the upper echelons, you can't keep him unless you're gonna hope that all. And even Arteta is a stretch, because Arteta has only won 2 trophies at Arsenal. But what he's done, you have to give him flowers. I've said it before. I don't want to repeat myself, but look at what happened with Real Madrid. If they had a proper striker, that time would be over 6-0 probably. 3-0 is a flattery to them. Yeah. So as much as Arteta is, I don't even think Arteta is good enough for Arsenal, but what he has done is at least better than what Maresca is trying to do. And I get it. He's been there for 5-6 years, almost 6 years. So obviously it becomes a case where, he gets to establish it. But the way that he plays, although he was an assistant to Pep, he knows Pep, he knows what needs to be done, and he realizes that the way that Pep plays, it's old school, and even Pep is changing the way that he's playing now. Pep doesn't, the way that they came back against Palace, that's not the average Pep. Manchester City, that's a different type of football playing, because they realize that those type of football is dying. That's why Real Madrid is struggling, because that way of playing football is dying. You cannot keep doing. It's about high press, quick movement of the ball, right? So the whole ticket keeping possession, and as the stat is up from Wolfie, 75% of the ball and nothing done with it. I mean, it means nothing. It's useless possession. I know a lot of people used to criticize Tuchel when we had possession and all of that, and we were making passes. We cannot forget that first match. One day after he was, and we made the most passes in the history of the Premier League and a half. We know that. I know he was called Tuchel for a reason, because we would only score 2 goals. I'd probably win by 2 goals until we beat Southampton 6-0. I think it was. I was Crystal Palace. I don't remember whatever match it was. We only win by 2 goals or by 1 goal. So we know that.
Can I
go to
ask you an honest question, Ty? I mean,
yeah, go on.
Because obviously it's interesting that Wolfgang Division's brought up an interesting stat, which is correct. Exactly this one. The guy blew 11-point lead in the championship. Right? Okay. Going off from that question, okay, do you honestly think that every player in this Chelsea team is playing for him? I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of players have lost confidence in him. I'm not going to lie to you.
No.
I think Cole Palmer's form has dipped under him. I'm not going to be real compared to Cole Palmer from last. And people go, "Oh, well, DJ, he had an injury." Don't matter if he had an injury. He didn't have an injury at the start of the season, did he? Right? He didn't have an injury at the start of the season, or did he? But obviously no one told us about it. Yeah. Okay. And clearly you can tell the guy's playing on injections at the moment, because I personally think he's getting an injection every time he starts games. I'm not going to be real with you. That's why you're not seeing the best of Cole Palmer at the moment. Because this guy,
That's an interesting
this
theory.
guy, for me, and this is why I keep saying, this is why I feel Cole Palmer at this moment in time, you can't. I get players can drop off form, right? But this guy's dropped quite badly. And listen, I'm not going to knock the kid because of what the kid did for us last season. And I know a lot of fans are coming for this kid now because people. This is what I'm trying to say. Our fan base forget what he did last season. Right, and without his goals last season, I'm sorry to say this, and people don't want to accept this. It's just bare facts. Chelsea would have been relegated last season.
Relegate?
Yeah, they would have been. Go back, bro.
Oh my God. No, it's true. It's
back.
true. What you're saying is very much true because remember,
back on all that.
there's so many matches. There's so many matches that if let me go back to because he scored approximate. And this is the funny thing about even this season, barring obviously recent time, approximately. I think like 75% of the goals that we've scored has been Jackson and Cole Palmer. Literally.
Yeah. And last season, without his goals, I'm sorry, people don't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept it as a Chelsea, but then I look back on the stats and the tables. We were in the relegation zone. We could have gone. Thank God it never happened. We found a way. We never got there. Thank God. Right? Okay. All right. So that sounds funny, doesn't it, bro? But I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah, what could have happened? Right? Okay. Thank God it didn't happen. Now this season. Okay, he started off the season pretty well, Cole Palmer. He was doing well, getting positions, scoring goals. But since he got that injury, and people don't accept that he has fallen so much off a cliff. And again, I don't know if it's the way Maresca's managing him, if it's I don't know what he's telling him in training, what he is, because for the life of me, I don't think this guy would have dropped. Even a bad Cole Palmer, this format he's in now, I'm sorry to say this, you put this guy under probably. This is going to even sound embarrassing. Probably under the Brentford manager, he probably even wouldn't be dropping back. He probably wouldn't be dropping off form this badly. Okay, I just don't know what's happened to him. Right, he's either playing him out of position, he's playing him with injury, playing him with an injury. And I keep saying I think he's having injections every game to keep him going. I think that will probably come out eventually as well for me. And if that is the case, what are we doing to this kid's career, man? Yeah, and the reason why, because Enzo Maresca knows, without him in this team and his goal and possibly helping us he's not going to be able to achieve what he could be in serious trouble come the end of the season. Right? And this is why I keep saying, contracts don't mean nothing anymore. And people can sit there and say, well, Enzo's on a 5-year contract. Well, let's be real here, right? These guys backed Pochettino last season. The same guys backed Potter the season before. And what happened after that? What happened after that?
He got sacked.
Potter was sacked, and Poch went in the summer. So when people think he's here for a 5-year contract, I don't believe the PR crap that comes out of what's his name? That guy, I forgot his name. One of the directors or Philistini, whatever his name is, coming out and saying whatever the guy's name was. Oh yeah, Enzo. If you remember the words he said when he did that, when he did that interview. Oh yeah, Enzo's here till the end. He specifically said he's here till the end of the season. He actually said, yeah, he'll be here till the end of the season. Why saying till the end of the season for? I'm not saying it's going to be sacked, but if you're backing your manager for next season, why are you saying till the end of the season he'll be here still here by the end of the season?
Yeah.
Listen.
Quickly.
Yes, smash the like. So
quickly, 15 likes. Let's get to 15 likes, man. We're stuck at 10 likes, man. Come on, man.
I'm not saying he's going to be sacked. And as I said, I don't think he should be sacked. However, all right, what I will say is, if he's going to get us into the Champions League next season, which we do finish in the Champions League spot there, I'll be honest with you, bro. I can't trust this guy to managers in the Champions League plus managers in Premiership games and going for all domestic trophies. Because if we're going to also try and compete for the title next season, which will probably be the next thing that will be coming out, right? I can't see this guy doing both things on all levels. I'm sorry. You need a proper manager. You
Yep.
need a proper manager who's been there, done it, worn the shirt. And even though I got laughed at about Xavi earlier on in my comment section, yeah, I don't understand why I'm being laughed upon, because that guy has done it in the he's won the I think he's won the La Liga title, and he's also had a chance to
The
manage
Spanish Cup.
Spanish Cup, and he's also managed to manage teams in the manage them as a Champions League team as well. Yeah, they didn't get far, but they still got pretty far in that competition, and he still has more experience in that competition than Maresca does as a player and as a manager.
Yeah.
But I'm not
I
saying
mean,
he's the right
quickly.
guy.
Yeah, go on, go on. Finish your sentence and I'll see what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying he's the right guy. But if you were to say, is you DJ, if you were to say to me right now, who is the better manager out of Enzo Maresca and Xavi, I'd say Xavi any day of the week. And that's only because of what he's won. His CV states it all. Let's just put it that way.
Well, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't think you can do the thing is Javi has shown to me that he can be flexible. That's one thing. I get what coach was saying earlier about the fact that certain managers look like they cannot, but the thing is you I think he's forgetting that managers can evolve, and it's not like it's not a case where they'll be stagnant, because Maresca is stubborn. He's been very stubborn, and that's why and that's why I said earlier, I did research, and I have to thank Maresca. Doing my analysis video on him is still my highest viewed video on the channel. So thank you to him. But I did an in-depth research. I did a video. I showed graphics, showing how his team set up, how stubborn he is. The only thing I did not insert, which I spoke to some Leicester City fans as well, and people still talk to me now. I still have some Leicester City friends and fans that say to me that, why are you surprised? I already told you that he's very stubborn, and I know it's similar to what Wolfie said. He got to the 11-point lead, and I mean, I used to defend that, to say that, which in all fairness, at the same time, he had injuries, and some of his key players in the team did get injured, so that didn't help. Players like Ndidi, Jamie Vardy, and all that, they got injured. Obviously, it was just when they lost players like Madison and all that. So it wasn't like the owners were backing him, or the owner, I should say, they had replaced those players. That they didn't necessarily do that in terms of Madison and Harvey Barnes and all that. They didn't do that. So I get it. They so it wasn't easy, but I mean, come on, and people, and this is, I have always said this. I've watched the championship a lot. I don't watch it every week. I'm not going to pretend like I do, but it's even highly competitive comparison to the Premier League. The Premier League is, barring this season, it's not as competitive as the championship. The championship is entertaining, and I've watched so many matches, and it's even better. And if I was supporting a team in the championship, man, I'd be happy. The amount of matches, it's more matches to watch as well. Everything. It's so drama filled, and the playoff run, and when they face,
Yeah.
I love it. So it's more competitive than the Premier League itself. So I'm aware of that. But you mentioned about Potter, and this is the funny thing about it. Well, obviously Potter didn't have the opportunity to play with Palmer.
Mm.
That sounds so wrong. Oh my gosh, Jesus Christ. Oh my
What's
god.
that, bro?
But yeah, Potter
The way
did.
you said that?
Oh my god.
Play with
Oh
Palmer,
wow. No,
bro.
oh gosh. Oh gosh.
You're a
Anyways,
joker, bro. Honestly,
I'm
mate.
gonna pretend like I didn't
You're
say that. I'm
thinking,
gonna
bro.
pretend I didn't say that.
Honestly, bro.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
Yeah.
Potter didn't have the chance to have Palmer as his player,
Yeah.
because obviously because we signed him after that. But the thing is, I find it so funny. Enzo Fernandez wasn't the greatest on the Potter, but he was doing way better. You could see
Mm.
I mean, we're seeing the better side of him now on the Maresca. But
Oh
the thing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
Pochettino did not know what to do with him. That's one funny thing
I
about it.
agree. Yeah,
Potter did,
I agree.
Pochettino did not. But the thing is, Pochettino knew how to play with Palmer. Why am I saying these things? Oh my gosh!
Tight, bro, man.
Oh,
You know, listen, bro. What I'll say to you is, listen. I have got nothing. I've said it already. I listen. I think. I listen. I think for me, look, Maresca's a good manager. I'm not going to not sit here and say he's
yeah.
crap. Okay. I just think the Chelsea job, for me personally, I just think maybe has come a bit too early for him. And of course, he's going to take the Chelsea job on. Who wouldn't take the Chelsea job on, right? Yeah. Well, sorry. I've got to be careful how I actually word that, because we were
Yeah.
actually we were actually rejected by Pep by Luis Enrique and Nagelsmann. So I've got to be careful when I say that. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, on his, a manager of his level, of Maresca's level, not a Nagelsmann or an Enrique level, right? Okay. But what manager of a Maresca level would not take the Chelsea job? Tell me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. You can continue. Thank you very much, guys. 10 people are watching now. It dropped now, but see, we finally got to the 15 likes. Thank you, Wolfie.
Big up.
And thank you to you
Excellent.
guys as well.
Smash
We
the like.
got to the
Carry on
15
doing
likes.
that,
Thank
man.
you.
Smash the like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, listen, as I said, bro, for me, as I said, I just think the Chelsea job may have just come a bit too early for him. Like the job clearly came too early for Potter. All right, Mr. Harry Potter.
Hmm.
It came too early. Unfortunately, he couldn't wave his magic around. All that, Wingardium, whatever you want to call it, and Patroma, whatever they want to say, yeah, in their call. Unfortunately, he couldn't wave his magic wand, yeah, to get that magic on the Chelsea team, right? However, going back to what I was saying about Maresca, about Poch. Listen, we all know no one liked Poch because of his Spursy connections. I think that's probably world common knowledge why Chelsea fans didn't want the guy. I don't think anybody said he was a crap manager. I just think they thought because of his Spursy connections they didn't want him. Simple as that. It's like Arsenal taking on Pochettino as their manager, okay, and getting rid of Arteta as one of their own, and then you go and bring in Pochettino as your manager. I don't think that will go down well with Arsenal fans. Same thing with the Chelsea fans. It didn't go well down with the Chelsea fans when Poch came our manager. But this is what the owners decided they were going to get him in, gave him a 2.5 year contract, and decided to get rid of him after he actually made it. After actually he was probably our better manager that got us in our highest placed position since these guys have taken over, right? But that doesn't mean I wanted him to stay on, because as I said before from the beginning, I never wanted Poch in the first place. All right. Just like I didn't want Potter in the first place. For me, TT should have stayed. But that's an old story for another day. But
I
yeah.
should have stayed.
Huh? Was that?
I should have
Victor.
stayed.
Vic,
Stop just joking. Because Wolfie calls me TT. So he said
yeah.
TT should have stayed. So I'm
Yeah,
saying.
man. TT should have stayed, man. But hey, listen, that's an argument for another day, or a debate for another day, right?
Mm.
But
Yep.
look, listen, Maresca, as I said, I'm giving him his time. As I said, I'm not saying sack him now. But if we do not, even if we win the Conference Cup, honestly, can Chelsea fans really? I mean, well, I know some will say yeah, but can the majority of Chelsea fans out there really say this guy's the guy to take us forward in the Champions League next season? If we go out of that competition very early, bro, what is the point of us being in it in the first place? And the other thing of all this is we're playing in the Club World Cup come the end of the season, a tournament we got to win, even though we got a load of other like Man Cities, Bayern Munich's, and Real Madrid's are all in it. But we've still got to try and go out all and win it. But I'll be honest, if we can win it. Now, I'll be honest, if we had a Xavi as our manager, I actually think we'd have more of a chance of winning that tournament than we would do now if he was our manager. And that's only because of his experience in that. That's only because of his experience in the Champions League. This guy knows, right? So that's the only that is my only con. But like I said, I'm not here to say Maresca out. So all I'm basically saying is it will start to get that way if we continue playing the way we're playing, and if we drop down the table further down. I don't think a lot of fans will
Yeah.
accept that.
What? Yeah. yeah, Victor. It's a late stream, but yeah, as you said, DJ. I mean, that is true. A lot of fans will be calling for it. Said, I don't know what's going on, man. I'm surprised so many people are still awake, man. I'm shocked. Because the views are the watchers are going up right now, but yeah, I mean, I don't really think there's much for us to talk after this, so we can probably just wrap it up. I don't know if Victor's any question. If not, then we can wrap it up. I've been going for 2 hours. I said 30
Yeah,
minutes,
bro.
and I've gone over that
Yeah,
by 2 hours.
cool. That's all right, bro.
Yeah,
It's actually good to have jumped on the stream. I think we've done a stream like this for a while. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I tried to avoid talking about Chelsea, but I said, you know what, I had a lot on my mind, so I'll just talk about it. I've been focusing on the Chelsea women's team because
Oh,
they're more
mate,
positive
what a game they played
than the
against
men's
Liverpool,
team
bruv.
for many
Oh
reasons.
man.
If you know what I mean, DJ, for many reasons, they're the better team to watch.
Oh, 100%, bruv. I don't doubt that for a
Yeah.
second. For many reasons, they are, mate. I mean, that game against their game against Liverpool, mate. I mean,
Oh
what a
yes,
game that was.
Beaver Jones, man, late winner, man. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm trying to get tickets to the final. For that. For them to go to see the final
Ooh.
if I can, but I can't get them. I can't get them unless I go and do it another way that I don't want to be discussing on your podcast here, bro, because I might get into trouble. But it's to
Oh
do
my
it's,
gosh.
it's to do. I think you know. I think you know what I'm talking about. It's to do it the other side of Todd Bowley's business.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that could be the only way I could probably get a ticket, maybe. But anyway, off that chat for a little while now. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, I'm trying to get tickets for that final. Because I don't know who we got now. It's Arsenal. It's between Arsenal or Tottenham, isn't it? Isn't it? Who else is in that
Who?
final? Who else is in the semi? Who have we got in
Man
that final?
United. Man
It's Man
United.
United.
Man
Man United.
United.
We got Man United. Yeah, they won yesterday, didn't it? It was yesterday they played their game as well, didn't
Yeah,
they? Or was it today they
I
played
think
today?
so.
West
I
Ham.
was I was it today.
It was today, Sunday. Was it
No,
today? I think today.
yeah,
No,
it was today.
yesterday, Sunday.
It was yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I'm trying to get tickets to that game, man. I'm gonna try and go on the thing again and see if I can get tight tickets. And my wife wants to because it's gonna be at Wembley Stadium, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, my wife wants to come down. My daughter's been going on about. My daughter's been to one final. She wants to go and see another one. So it'd be nice to actually take her to go and see them play, along with my wife. So let's see if I can
Yeah.
get some tickets for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. So the Chelsea women's team is what I've been focusing on mostly, and the videos have been doing well. So I mean,
Quad on, bro.
why
Quad
stop?
is on. Quad is on. Come on. They're the only shining light, only stars that we can actually look upon at this moment. I'm thinking something's coming great out of that football club in that reason because of them at the moment. They are playing some fantastic. And our manager. I mean, everyone talked about Emma Hayes, what a job she did, but Sonia Bombasta, what a manager she is, mate. And you know what I like about her? She's straight to the point. She don't take no crap from the press either. Just like how Emma Hayes
Yeah,
was. She gives it as it is and says it how it is.
and that's why I respect about the women's football, because the thing is, and you know, I remember looking back. I guess we can probably talk about the chosen women for the last bit. But the thing
Yeah,
is, with when I remember when Emma Hayes, when they kept asking her about Soda Bumbuster, what you think about Soda Bumbuster? She
yeah.
won the Champions League as a player. She in the beginning she was like, okay, there's nothing from the club has not agree with anybody yet, but obviously Soda Bumbuster was the main person, probably the only person they're really looking at. Um, she kept when eventually it was confirmed, she said that yes, so the Buster is tremendous. She's a wonderful manager. And it was a perfect replacement. I think, and I'm gonna say this, which some people may hate, but I think I think she's a better option than Emma Hayes. And Emma Hayes has won a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie, but there's some things that Emma
Nah,
Hayes got wrong,
no,
especially in the
no.
Champions League.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah.
I
I
know,
get
I
your
know. I'm
point.
gonna disagree, but in terms of what
Yeah,
you said, so the thing is, so the Bumposter, she even when the team won 3-0, she's unhappy. She reminds me of
No,
that
bro.
Hansi Flick-esque vibe.
I get you. I get your debate, brother. Listen, what I will say is, listen. No one can say nothing about proper Chelsea manager Emma Hayes, mate. We all loved her as a manager. I'm gutted.
Well,
I'm
I
gutted. You know
mean,
what? I'll be honest with you, bro. I'd have liked to seen her or even Bombasta to manage the men's team, bruv. I think they'll even do a better job than this guy at the moment, right? And get something out of these players. And that's saying
okay.
something, right? Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, Sonia Bombasta, what a player she was in her time as well. Mate. Excellent left back. What a player she was.
Yeah,
Yeah, as well. And I'm just glad we've got her. And I think she'll take us to the next level in terms of winning the Champions League, because that's the only thing that's missing from the ladies. I think that's the only trophy I think that is missing. Correct me if I'm wrong, from the ladies, because I think they've won. Have they not won the FA Cup before? Or they won the?
yeah,
They have won the. We have won the FA Cup before. I mean, we've won
yeah.
obviously the
They
women
did
at
last year.
WSL. We've won the cup. We've won the other. We've won the other. The only one we
The
haven't
the
got
league
to.
the League Cup, the one that they won, the Adobe Cup. They hadn't won that for, I think, for 2 years. I think.
Yeah. But this is the big one we haven't won
Mhm.
yet, and I think with this manager,
Yeah, the Champions League is
listen,
the
it's
only
going to
one
be
they haven't won.
listen. We can't sit here and say it's going to be because Barcelona, they are the girls in that tournament, bruv. You can't knock the Barcelona team for that. It's going to be a tough game. Yeah,
And
but
they're the
yeah,
one that beat us the finals the same year that man, the
yeah.
same. Yeah, I think
Big
wasn't
up
the
Queen
same year.
Turf,
When
Green
wasn't the
Turf,
same year?
huh? Huh?
I don't think that's a real green turf though. I don't think green turf.
Is it?
That's not a
No,
green
it's not how
turf.
he does his. No, it's not. He usually has the, what do you call it, doesn't he? A little thing on there. I think that's somebody else. Why would you call yourself
Yeah, that's
Green
some. I
Turf
think it's a
for?
rip off. It's weird.
Why would you go around calling yourself the Green Turf for?
Anyways, I'm gonna take that off quickly.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, the Champions League is everything. But I think I'm trying to remember if when they what year they were in oh yeah, it was the same year that where we were hoping that both the men and the women team would win the Champions League the same year, and they went to the
yeah,
final and Barcelona beat them 4-0. They smashed them 4-0. Um, so that's
yeah.
what I meant by the whole thing. But the thing is, though, it would have been nice if we had. I think this is the year, though. Barcelona won't be easy. I know that for sure. But I think this may be the year. I think it will be the year.
Hey, listen,
I'm just gutted that I'm just
we've got their
yeah.
former
Go on.
player playing at our football club now, bruv. Kira
Yeah,
Walsh.
Kieran
She
Walsh.
might.
Yeah,
She'll know
and Lucy Bronze.
exactly.
Lucy Bronze
Yeah,
too. Lucy Bronze.
yeah, and Lucy Bronze.
Yeah,
So they'll
yeah.
know
So
exactly what we need to do. But it's going to be a tough game, bruv. It's going to be a tough game.
well, Lucy Bronze more so. Kira Walsh has struggled recently. She had a good debut, and then she's been having up and down. I don't know if it's adjusting to coming back to England. I don't know, or then again, she plays for the England women's team, so I don't know what it is, but she's been struggling recently. She struggled against Liverpool, to be honest.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, I think this is the year, though. I think this is the year. I hope it is the year. It would be lovely. And
yeah,
so I'm just gutted that Sonia Bumperster's undefeated streak ended overall. She's still undefeated in the
yeah.
WSL. I wanted her to pull a Jabi Alonso, which she still could. But it just disappointing losing to City in the Champions League. But the comeback was fantastic. I loved it. The
Oh,
first half comeback
what a
against
comeback!
City was wonderful.
I went. Oh, I didn't.
First
I
30
went to that game,
minutes.
but I went to that game, by the way.
Really? Oh
The
yeah,
man,
Stamford
the
Bridge. Yeah, I
Manchester.
remember.
I
Yeah.
went to that game, brother. I went to that game. What a game
Yeah.
that was, mate! I tell you that. That was one
Bloody
game I did
hell. I was saying,
enjoy.
wow.
Huh?
I was shocked. I was saying, I believe they would come back, but I was like, wow. The first 30 not 30 seconds, 30 minutes. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think my only concern. I think Lauren James is out again, isn't she? Again injured.
I think so.
I hope she'll be back.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Mary Ramirez was back as well. I think a lot of people were that
yeah.
Mary Ramirez would be out because
Sam
I'm back.
Kerr. I don't know if Sam Kerr's going to be coming back before the end of the season. I hope she does.
Yes.
And then my favorite Guru Wrighton came back from injury. I was nice to see her on the bench the other day. Guru Wrighton. She was like, it's good to see her come back as well.
Mm. According to Chelsea manager, she's unsure about when Sam Kerr will return. That's the
Mm.
latest news from Australia.
But great, but
Um,
but great Guru writing's back there, isn't it, Ty?
yeah, she's back. She's back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Who Ty called? Yeah, great. She's come back into the team.
mm. Right. So the forecast suggests it may not be before the end of April that Kirk could return, by which time
Yeah,
there would only be 3 weeks left of the domestic season, with the last day of the WSL being on May 10,
yeah,
and the FA Cup final the following weekend. Chelsea. Well, this was yeah. Chelsea have gone there, so they be in May 10. Okay, so Chelsea played the FA Cup. Okay, that's this is from yes, this is from Saturday. So that's not it. But yeah. Um, I it is where it is. But Lawrence James is a massive blow.
mm,
Why is it always? I don't know what's going on. It's like these people. It's like they know that I'm about to end the stream, that they come in. Every time I'm about to end any stream,
nah, bro.
people start
Listen, you
coming
better
in.
Ty. Listen, bruv. It is late, mate. You better go. I mean, yeah, I know
Yeah,
you too
I'm
good.
gonna.
Trust me.
It's literally two. It's two
It's
minutes. It's 2 minutes to 10
it
for
is.
me, and it's 2 minutes to 4 for you.
Yeah,
So
mate. I mean,
yeah,
it's it. I've got. It's important. It's what do you call it for? I mean, I've got it's Easter week this week coming up, so it's going to be one of those. Already got. I got my cousins. I got from my on Saturday. My cousin's wife's brother's getting married, so I've got a wedding on Saturday. So it's going to be nice. But they've had to choose to do the wedding before Easter Sunday, mate. So that's a bit of a, what do you call it, one?
yeah. So it's gonna be a cramp for time. But yeah,
Mm,
man. I'm gonna end the stream though.
yeah, bruv.
But like 15 people watching right now. This
Big
is
up to
madness.
everyone in the comments. Smash the like and subscribe.
Yeah, but big up. I don't know who this is, but they're impersonating Green Turf. Beyond the Belt, big up to you, Victor. Big up.
Big up.
Wolfgang Division, he was here as well. SK, I think SK was also here. Where is it? Roderick was here. I know that.
Quick.
Wolfie, I said Wolfie already. SKFC was here. Coach was here. Oh, I didn't say
Yeah.
wasn't SK here? Yeah, SK was here, right?
SKFC was it?
Um,
Say,
yeah. I don't know how to pronounce
Dole.
this guy's name, but he subscribed. Say yeah V Dole. Uh,
I think it's say.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna butcher the guy's name, but big up to you. He
Yeah.
subscribed as well. He says I'm watching. I don't know if I'm watching was like he was watching to see what I was saying, or if he was watching as in he's watching the stream. I don't know what it was, but I got 3 subscribers from the stream, so big up to those guys. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you DJ for joining.
No worries,
It was a
Anytime, man. Anytime.
spontaneous stream. Yeah, it was a spontaneous stream, and it's very late. I didn't get the chance to
Yeah.
do a immediate post match show because I was doing a lot of post
No,
match
no, bro.
shows
It's cool. But
earlier this season.
what I'll do is
But
we'll catch up on what do you call it as well to catch up and talk with you as well
yeah,
proper.
yeah,
But I'm gonna go off to bed now, bruv. But listen, it's great. It was great
all right,
streaming with you again, bruv. But listen, you take care,
yeah,
right? And are you off? Are you off
yeah.
now? Till when you off until you go
No,
back
no,
now,
no,
innit?
no, no, no. Well, I don't have any classes. Well, I'm off for study leave because I actually have
Yeah.
exams next week.
Oh
And then
shit.
that's it. Yeah,
Oh, okay, bro. Well, listen. If I don't
yeah,
speak to you before that, which I'm sure I'm going to speak to you before that anyway, on a stream or somewhere. Good luck with your exams, bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'll
Appreciate
catch
it,
up with
man.
you soon.
Appreciate it.
No, in regards to your family as well.
Yeah,
Take care. Peace out, bruv. Peace out.
yeah.
Peace out.
Yeah, you
Peace.
too, you too. Right,
That's it, bruv.
so thank you guys for watching once more. And that's the end of the stream. Thank you guys for watching once more, and thank you for getting the goal up. Thank you to Wolfie for, instigating that as well. We got to the 15 likes goal target, so I appreciate that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and it was a pleasure doing this stream. I went way over the time I said I would have, but thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.